Okay, this is video 2 for 11/7. When I saw how long the other video was, I changed it to a 2-day assignment. So hopefully you saw that when it was in the assignment section. All right, so again, we have to see what was happening beforehand. So before the final statement, there must have been a proportion. And it should have been BE times AD equals BD times CE. All right, BE BD oops, sorry. CE and AD. All right, so we have the situation where there's two different colors for each triangle. So actually, I think I'll do this one in blue. And I have a lot of colors here. And this one in green. Okay, CE is perpendicular to AB. So I'm going to need that right angle right there for the blue triangle. I'm going to call that 1. And AD perpendicular to BC. Call that angle 2. Now, where are we going to get the other angle from? Well, right here, they both share that angle. So I'm going to call that angle 3. I could call it B because there's nothing else going on there, but that's how it is. So triangle, similar to triangle. Let's see, let's call it EBC. All right, so I went from the right angle to the reflexive to the nothing. So I have to go from the right angle to the reflexive to the nothing. All right, there's my plan. You actually could have tried this one on your own. If you want to stop the video and try it before I do it, that would be good. Should have told you that beforehand. Given number 2. Angle 1 and angle 2 are right angles. And that's because perpendicular lines form right angles. Number 3. Angle 1 congruent angle 2 because all right angles. Not there. All right angles are congruent. Number 4. Angle 3 congruent angle 3. And that's my reflexive property. Number 5. Okay, so now I have the right angles with the reflexive, so I'm ready to roll. I'm going to say the triangles are similar. Triangle EBC is similar to triangle DBA. And that's by angle, angle, congruent to angle, angle. Number 6. Show my proportion to AD. And that's because in similar triangles, corresponding sides are in proportion. And now show the cross multiplication. BE times AD equals BD times CE, and that's product of the means. Equals product of the extremes. Okay, so now the last one on your worksheet. As I said, this one's pretty hard. I have all kinds of yuck on here. All right, let me line up. Actually, let's get a couple different color pens too. I have red, I have black. Do I have a blue? No. All right, I should be able to work this out. I wish I had a rocket pen, but you should have a rocket pen. Okay, so let's start from setting it up. All right, so we know that we want to, let me see how low I can go, okay. All right, QS XB, there's my cross multiply right there, ST and TX. I actually, where's my number 4? Oh, hold on. I just want to get this out so I stay organized with how I'm doing this with you. Okay. All right, so if I mark it with my highlighters, I have QS and ST. Well, that's disturbing because it's not part of a triangle. But let's see what happens, all right? TX is to XV. All right, now, I hope you can see we do not have triangles there. But since these two are parallel and these two are parallel, I know this is a parallelogram. Okay, so I'm going to make a note to myself. STXW is a parallelogram. Okay, so once I say that it's a parallelogram, I can slide ST over to WX. And I can also slide TX to SW. All right, now I have the two triangles that I need. Okay, but here's the thing. I replaced ST with WX. And I replaced SW with TX. So TX has to become SW. So now I have QS where it was, and XV where it was. All right, now I'm going to have to say that these two are congruent and these two are congruent to be able to do that replacement. Right? Hopefully you followed that. All right, let's see. Now let's see where we're going to get the angles from. Well, since these two are parallel to each other, angle 1 will be congruent to angle 2. You know what? I don't want to do it that way. Let me redo that. I'm going to go 1 and 2. Okay, because I have, let me use my red pen. Parallel, parallel, transversal. All right. Now, since these two are parallel, I'm going to have 1 and 3. All right, so I'm going to have to use the transitive property. I'm going to say 1 congruent to 2 and 1 congruent to 3, because if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, corresponding angles are congruent. So that then through the transitive property, 2 will be congruent to 3. Okay, that got us one pair. All right, now let's go, I'm up to 4. 4 and 5. All right, 4 and 5 will be corresponding. 4 and 6 will be corresponding. I'm sorry, 5 and 6 will be corresponding. Parallel, parallel, transversal. Okay, so there's your corresponding with the 5 and 6. Okay, and actually let me go with 2 on that. 5 and 6. All right, so now I have 2 and 3 and 5 and 6. So that gives me those two triangles. So I have to work off of this. So I have triangle QSW, similar to triangle. All right. WXV. All right, that's my plan. What do you think? That was a little tricky, right? Okay. I could have gotten the 6 right here too, I think. No, I needed the 5 and 6 like that. So I don't really need angle 4. All right, so statement reason. Number 1. Copy all that down, and that's given. Number 2, I have to say it's a parallelogram. STXW is a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs, opposite sides, parallel. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. You know what? I'm going to say a whole bunch of them at the same time. Angle 1 congruent, angle 3. Angle 5 congruent, angle 6. All right, so I have 1 and 2, 1 and 3. I'm going to use the transitive property to get 1 and 3, and then 5 and 6. Okay, so if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, now we need to get 1 and 3 congruent, 2 and 3 congruent to each other. Angle 2 congruent to angle 3, and that's my transitive property. Okay, so I have 2 and 3, I have 5 and 6. So I'm good to go with that. Now the triangles are similar. Number 5. Triangle QSW is similar to triangle WXV, and that's because angle, angle, congruent to angle, angle. Now we have a couple options here. I think I'm going to go with this. Number 6, QS is to WX as SW is to XV. Let's check that out. QS is to WX as SW is to XV. That looks good. All right, in similar triangles, corresponding sides are in proportion. Okay, now let's wait till the end to do our substitution. All right. So we're going to say QS times XV equals WX times SW. And that is because product of the means equals product of the extremes. Okay, so what did we sub in here? Well, we have the QS and the XV, QS and XV, so those are good. We need to change the WX to ST, and we need to change the SW to TX. Now, what's going to allow us to do that? Well, since it's a parallelogram, we know that WX equals ST, and we also know that, give me a comma here, so I did this one first, so SW equals TX, all right, because in a parallelogram, opposite sides are congruent. Okay, now I'm just going to sub them in. QS, let me slide up a little bit. QS times XV equals, well, right here it says WX, so we want to change that to ST, times, and right here it says SW, so we want to change that to TX. And that is substitution. There's a couple different places where you could have done the substitution, but before you do the substitution, you must say that the opposite sides are congruent to each other. So you might want to take a look at this one again, because it was pretty tricky. Okay, so that's the end of 11.7. You have 2 homework questions that need to be completed by tomorrow. well, actually, depending on when you're watching it, need to be completed by Tuesday at midnight. So please make sure that you take pictures of it or however it is you attach it. But do it in the assignment portion so it's assigned to your name so I can find it easily. There's also an extra credit assignment. So you might want to take a look at that. That's due by Friday. Make sure it's on a separate piece of paper. And I think that one you can send to me in a message because I don't know that everyone's going to do it. Okay, so have a great day. If you have questions, as always, send me a message or send me a comment, and we'll see what we can do with it. Okay, thank you.